She was the most beautiful girl in town. But she had a secret that could destroy her life. No matter how hard she tried, the fire inside her never faded until one moment changed everything. In a quiet town called Umo, there lived a beautiful girl named Ma. She was admired by everyone in the village. Men from far and wide came to ask for her hand in marriage. Her glowing skin, radiant smile, and kind eyes made her the talk of the town. But no matter how many men asked her to marry them, Ma couldn't say yes. She preferred to spend time with them, only to send them away when she was done. It wasn't because she didn't want love. Ma had a deep secret, one she couldn't share with anyone except her two best friends, Uso and Ken. Since she was 15 years old, Ma had felt something strange inside her. A fire burned within her that made her restless. She couldn't go a day without being with a man. It wasn't just one man, sometimes it was even 10 in a single day. She wasn't doing it for pleasure. It was something she had to do, something she couldn't control. By the time she turned 25, her problem had only worsened. No matter how many times she sought help, no one could understand what was happening to her. Ma had spent years trying to fight the fire inside her. She hated herself for it, but she couldn't resist the urges. Every night she would lie in bed and cry, wondering why she had been cursed with this terrible secret. She had even paid men just to ease the burning inside her, but nothing ever worked. No matter what she did, the feeling never went away. She had lost count of how many times she had sought help, but doctors, elders, and even healers couldn't find a cure. Her parents, unaware of her suffering, often pressured her to get married. "Ma, you are so beautiful. Why don't you settle down?" they would say. But how could she explain that one man would never be enough for her? How could she get married when she needed many men every single day? So she kept her secret. She told her parents she wasn't ready for marriage, even though the real reason was much darker. She felt trapped in a life she didn't want. She wanted to be normal, to have a loving relationship, but it seemed impossible, until one day she met someone who changed everything. One afternoon, while leaving a small cafe, Ma accidentally bumped into a young man named Chima. He was kind and gentle, with a warm smile that made her heart race in a way she had never felt before. "No worries. Are you okay?" Chima asked as he steadied her. For the first time in her life, Ma felt something different, hope. She nodded quickly, unable to find her words. When Chima offered her a ride home, she hesitated for a moment but then agreed. That night, Ma couldn't stop thinking about him. Could Chima be different? Could he be the one who would finally take away her secret pain? As the days passed, Ma and Chima started spending more time together. They would talk for hours, and slowly, Ma began to feel something she had never felt before. Love. It was a strange new feeling for her, and for the first time, she believed she could have a normal life, but deep inside, she was afraid. What if the fire never went away? Chima was different from any man Ma had ever met. He was patient, kind, and genuinely cared for her. He never rushed things, and that made Ma feel safe. One evening, as they sat by the riverbank, Chima took Ma's hand and said, "I love you." Ma's heart pounded. No man had ever said those words to her in a way that made her believe them. She felt a warmth in her heart, something different from the fire that usually tormented her. "I love you too," she whispered back. For a while, Ma felt happy. She believed love could heal her. Maybe, just maybe, Chima's love would be enough to take away her secret pain, but it didn't. No matter how much she loved Chima, the urges never stopped. She tried to fight them, but soon she found herself sneaking away to be with other men. The guilt was unbearable. She hated herself for betraying Chima, but she couldn't resist the fire inside her. One evening, Chima surprised Ma by getting down on one knee. "Will you marry me?" he asked. Holding out a beautiful ring, tears filled Ma's eyes. She wanted to say yes. She wanted to believe she could change. "Yes," she said excitedly. The next day, she shared the news with her best friends, Uso and Ken. Uso cheered for her, hugging her tightly. But Ken felt something else. Ken had always been in Ma's shadow, struggling to find love herself. How could someone like Ma, who had been with so many men, be rewarded with happiness? Jealousy burned inside Ken. She couldn't understand how Ma got everything while she had nothing. And so, she made a plan. She would stop Ma's wedding. The wedding day arrived. The hall was beautifully decorated, filled with friends and family. Everything was perfect. Just as Ma and Chima were about to exchange rings, the large screen in the hall flickered. Suddenly, a video started playing. Gasps filled the room. It wasn't a sweet video of Ma and Chima's love story. It was something far worse. It was a recording of Ma with different men. Ma's heart stopped. Chima's face turned pale. He stood frozen, unable to look at her. The whispers in the room grew louder. Without saying a word, Chima turned and walked out of the hall. Ma ran after Chima, crying and begging him to listen. But it was too late. Chima was gone. She stood there, broken and alone. Her world had collapsed in an instant. Uso quickly rushed to her side, helping her into a car and driving her home. Ma cried uncontrollably. She had always feared this day would come, but she never thought it would happen like this. What she didn't know was who had betrayed her. The person behind it all was Ken. She had recorded Ma in secret and played the video at the wedding, all because of jealousy. But Ken's plan backfired. Though Ma was destroyed, she decided to fight back. She sought professional help. She found a doctor who specialized in her condition, and through therapy and treatment, she slowly began to heal. One day, after months of therapy, Ma received a letter. It was from Chima. He told her that while he had been hurt, he now understood that what she had was a medical condition, not a choice. At the bottom of the letter was a phone number. With a racing heart, Ma called it. They spoke for hours. Slowly, the love they once had started to return. Chima and Ma rekindled their love. He supported her through her therapy, and eventually they got married. Ken, realizing her mistake, apologized. Ma forgave her, but their friendship was never the same. Despite everything, Ma learned a valuable lesson. True healing comes from facing the truth, and not all friends can be trusted.